Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the roll, please.
Mayor Bailey?
Here.
Vice Mayor Bateman?
Here.
Mr. Goodyear?
Here.
Ms. Hamlin?
Here.
Mr. Hart?
Here.
Ms. Hazelbaker?
Here.
Mr. Jernick?
Here.
Welcome, everyone. With us tonight, we have our Assistant City Manager, Chris Weinich, Clerk of Council, Misty Clark, Dave Kennedy, City Manager, City Solicitor, Joe Braun, Chief of Police, Michael Gabrielson, and former council members Neil Ori, Todd Osborne, Pat Mays, and Kip Ping. And with that, that's the next item on the agenda. Mr. Ping, meet me at the, right? I keep skipping things, so I'm checking. So I've known Kip for a while, in other capacities. When he ran 4 years ago, I thought he was a perfect addition to City Council with your thoughtful approach to things, to some of the issues that faced us. It was unique having a engineer's mind that sometimes when you had things to say, I wasn't always sure what you were talking about until you explained things a little better. But I think you served the city certainly with honor and honesty and distinction, and it was my pleasure to serve alongside you and get to know you in the capacity of a fellow council member. So I thank you for your time that you served. Does anyone have anything else you would like to add? Ms. Hamlin?
Thank you. Kip, I did want to take an opportunity to speak on behalf of, from a different perspective, I guess, because obviously we didn't have a chance to work together. But I have had the vantage point of watching you from the audience, and I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate your demeanor. I appreciate your presence and your probing questions for council. It clearly reflected your preparation and your care for this community. For those who are not aware, Kip is a structural engineer, and I didn't really know him when he first came to council, and so I asked around a couple of people, and I got a comment from somebody who said, he's the guy who saved the Bishop building. And so I just want to let you know that is no simple task, and you not only saved a building, but you saved a piece of Loveland's history. And so that is a legacy that you can be very proud of, and the entire community owes you a debt of gratitude. So thank you.
Any other comments? Yes, Mr. Goodyear.
Well, Mr. Ping, I would just say that I really enjoyed the 2 years we had working together on City Council. I think other people have already alluded to this, but you provide leadership in a unique way because you not only lead by example, but you lead with a silent strength, and you speak when it's needed, and you let others speak in other circumstances. But the one thing I always knew is when you would speak about an issue, we would get a thoughtful, informative, and knowledgeable either question or statement. And I said this to you previously, but you've had a large influence on me on how I handled the first 2 years here I've been on council. The way that you approach things, I think, is totally appropriate and totally meaningful. And so I've tried to kind of emulate that. And I think that I talk a lot more than you do, but I try not to talk too much. So anyway, I have such a high opinion of you, a great respect for you. And you and I have had a chance to talk through a lot of issues together on council together. And I just want to say I appreciate you, and I appreciate your service. And thank you for being a friend.
Mr. Bateman.
Well, Mr. Ping,
Bateman.
thank you. I really have enjoyed serving with you over the last 4 years. And to what Mr. Goodyear and Ms. Hamlin both mentioned, I think your your contributions have been so thoughtful, and your temperament and your questions are always so unique and bringing a different perspective to the table. And so that's really something that we're going to miss. And so I'm hoping that in the future that you're going to leverage that experience in a different way and still provide that same even keeled temperament and proposal for new ideas and different ways of thinking. And I believe, in the time that I've been here and been interested in city politics and government, there's been a handful of people that served and are no longer serving, but they still provide a wealth of knowledge to me, and I'm sure to others. And so I think that those contributions are not gone. They're just to be found elsewhere. But on a personal note, I think over the last couple of years, it's been great to get to know you as a person, not just as a colleague. And I think I've really enjoyed your personality coming through beyond that even-keeled mind of an engineer. And so that's what I'm sorry to not be able to have in my monthly cadence of opportunities to connect with Kip Ping. So I'm going to miss that, and I hope we get an opportunity to continue those conversations in the future in a different way. So thank you for your service, and really thank you for everything you've done for the community.
Mr. Hart?
I had the opportunity to roam Mr. Ping on 2 occasions, and that work that goes into that is a tremendous undertaking. And as we went door to door the first time around, Kip was one of the first people who ever pressed me on issues and then made me argue a point where we were not aligned. We didn't agree. We didn't see things eye to eye. And it was my real, because I didn't know Kip before that first campaign, and his perspective was so different from mine, but also his ability to step back and listen to my perspective taught me how to listen to his perspective, if that makes sense, because it was so different, and that helped me grow a tremendous amount back at that time. And I don't know that I would be where I'm at now, just personally and professionally, if somebody like Kip was not around to push me into a different direction and push me on some things and push me to think in ways I'd never thought before. So I don't know that I can adequately express my gratitude in this moment, but I'm tremendously grateful for having worked with you and worked around you for the past 4 years, and your service to the city has been exemplary over the last 4 years. And the one thing that Kip has said a number of times is he always wanted to serve because he felt like he had something to give, and I want to leave in no uncertain terms that you have something to give to the city. You have a tremendous talent and eye for the work that needs to go on here. So thank you so much for what you've done, and thank you for your friendship.
Any further comments? Mr. Jernick?
Mr. Ping, I want to thank you for everything. Your leadership through this election meant everything to me. I not only learning from you and being you were my mentor through this, so I appreciate that, and I made a friend. So I really appreciate everything for the past, everything you've done for the city of Loveland, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Good. Any further comments? Yes. You have to now.
I was planning to anyway. No, I mean, Kip, I have a story of just when I was a resident sitting outside, and you had made one of your, as everybody said, a comment and a question, for Dave. And I followed up and I said, man, thank you for asking that question. I was really kind of wanting to know, kind of that, similar kind of mentality. And you responded back and you were like, man, never anybody sends anything positive. Thank you. And so I just appreciate that and appreciate, I was looking forward to kind of serving with you. Again, as Amy said, there were so many great people in this election. So just thank you for time. And even before we talked, I hope that you continue to give your talents to Loveland. So thank you.
Thank you. You're going to want to sit down.
Oh,
You're going to want to sit right there. So, yeah. I tried to pare this down. I'll be honest. When this first came up, I thought, yes, I definitely want to come back. Not because I wanted to hear all the kind things that you guys said, and I truly do appreciate that, but because I wanted to share my perspective. You're about to learn why they don't let me talk much when I was on council. So, I was thinking about back on my life and kind of how things happen. And after the election, I'll be honest, there was a little bit of melancholy. There was a little bit of anger. There was a little bit of different things for different people and different stuff. And I was reminded of my favorite president is Abraham Lincoln. I was reminded of a comment that he made one time when asked about the election results in New York. He said, "I feel somewhat like a boy in Kentucky who stubbed his toe while running to see a sweetheart. The boy said he was too big to cry, and it hurt too bad not to." So I thought that kind of sums it up right there. That when I was a little kid and I would be unhappy, my mother would say this little kind of thing in a sing-song sort of voice when I was pouting and I had my arms crossed and my lips stuck out. And she'd say, "Rooster, rooster, come sit on Kip's lip." And I have no idea what that means, but it always made me feel better. And so, that helped. And then sometimes she would do this. You should know what this is? It's the world's smallest violin playing the world's saddest tune just for you. And so that was helpful. There was a poem that she would recite. It's the earliest poem I remember hearing and memorizing. It's, "Of the saddest words of tongue or pen, these are them. Oh, what might have been." So, all of those things early in my childhood, it makes my mother sound bad, I just realized, but she was a good woman. She was very sweet. She wasn't giving me a hard time. She was reminding me that things are not always as big as you think they are. Many of you know that I am an elder in the church where I attend, up West Loveland. And the Apostle Paul, when he wrote to the church at Philippi, said, "I have learned in all things to be content." This was a man who was shipwrecked, he was beaten, he was flogged, he was tormented in many ways, and yet he said, "I have learned to be content." My favorite Christmas movie is a sappy one. It's a Wonderful Life. I love that movie, and I like it because it reminds us that if we think on the right things, it makes life a better place. It makes it good for all of us. We can recognize that even when the bad things happen to us, there's good in everything. And so our attitudes decide a lot of what is about. So what I want to do is spend the rest of my time. Thank you for not starting the clock, by the way. I want to spend the rest of my time saying some thank yous. To my wife, who makes me look like an extrovert, I want to thank her for supporting me. She's home with the grandkids, and so she didn't come with me tonight. That's her excuse, at least. For being willing to travel this road with me, because it is something that she kind of was dragged along a little bit, and I appreciate her doing that. I appreciate her making all the cookies so all the other kids would like me. That was nice. To all the residents, I have a lot of new friends, some of whom are here tonight. I appreciate seeing you guys. I know you came for other reasons, but it's nice to see you anyway. I think that the time that I had opportunity to represent everyone, there were times when I had opportunities to listen to residents and get different perspectives. 2 months in, I remember sitting here with Sharon and her husband for about probably an hour and a half, I think it was, that we sat and talked about the issues of the day. And that was the beginning of many opportunities to meet people in their homes, to meet people on the street, to meet people here, and to hear what people had to say. And it was always a pleasure to have those opportunities. And so I thank you to the community, certainly. There were all kinds of ribbon cuttings, fire truck pushes, building dedications, Valentine Lady celebrations, Loveland U, fire and police dinners, lunches, meetings, Kiwanis proclamations, kids fests in the park, Warren County Municipal League meetings, Little Miami Chamber of Commerce meetings, parades, volunteer opportunities. That's a blank page. That's not any good. All kinds of opportunities. And, you know, I just really enjoyed every minute of that. And I want to thank the community for those opportunities. Lynn Zook texted me. She wasn't able to be here. She wanted to be here tonight. My fellow Seinfeld fan and fellow introvert. I certainly appreciated her time on the campaign trail, for listening to my ramblings every Saturday and making campaigning a little bit more fun. Chief Gabrielson, you always know a good place to eat. That's certainly a good thing. You lead a group of really great officers, and it's been fun working with you. Leadership comes in many different ways, and I remember when you first started, I was coming through in the 4th of July parade, and it was just a madhouse downtown, and the crowd was pressing in. And there you were right in the middle of all of it, trying to keep control of things. And I thought, that's a leader. On a holiday, being here and being part of that. And you certainly have exemplified that. The thing that you guys do, risking your lives every day, for the rest of us, that certainly is appreciated, and appreciate all that you guys do for our city. A lot of people say, there's too many police, the city's already safe. They don't get it, do they? The police are what makes the places safe. For Chief Huber, obviously I spoke about him when we dedicated the building, and he is also such a community servant and a man who has left his mark on the town, and one of the very first people who gave me advice when I became a council person, and so I certainly appreciate that. Mr. Braun, talented attorney, for helping us navigate a lot of complexities, balancing law and politics and community interests and city interests and all sorts of things. You've always been a very good advisor and counselor on all those things. Every time I called you or texted, you answered all of my questions, even though some of them probably were silly, and I always appreciated that. The quiet jokester who's not here tonight, Mr. Medler, having his steady hand on the financial tiller made things so much easier for all of us that were on council, because we knew that he was doing such a good job, and one that's probably underappreciated. He may not risk his life as our first responders do, but as a taxman, he probably does in some ways. So, his good hand on that keeps us out of those troubles. Mr. Weinich, who I still can't spell your name, but I know how to say it. My fellow engineer up there, I appreciate all of your effort. You dug in on hard tasks from the day that you started. The PFAS issues and others that are obviously controversial and require a delicate touch, and you have done that well. And I appreciate all that you've done. I appreciate you listening to my ideas, even though many times it turned out you had already thought of what I was talking about, and so I appreciate that. Misty Brents. I couldn't think of what to call you. I wanted to say sidekick because you sat beside me, but that seemed like it was too condescending or something. I don't know. So I don't know what you are, but I appreciate you. You have a creativity that is amazing to me. Engineers are not known for their creativity, so maybe that's not a high bar, but I think you blow it away anyway. You apply all of that, the gifts, ideas that you come up with for the events that we have, and all that you do. In personal struggles, you have been strong in a way that is incredible. For what you do for council, sometimes herding cats, you guys all need to read her emails closer and respond to her questions and not what you want to say. And for sitting through all of these meetings and then sitting through them again to make the minutes, I think you should be applauded just for that. So Yes. Just getting warmed up. Just getting warmed up. I can't hold these people to go yet. Um, thank you for all you do and for your friendship. It's meant a lot to me. Deidre Hazelbaker, opponent number 1, we'll call you. You have a passion for the city and a zeal for the city that is obvious in all that you do. I know that you have a desire to make this city a better place, and I think that's fantastic. This city had the luxury of having 8 good people who all want to be dedicated servants to serve the city. And I thank you for running, and I wish you the best in all of your efforts. Sherry Hamlin, opponent number 2. Thank you for sort of supporting me 4 years ago. First of all, when I first ran, I really wish you would have thrown a little bit more support my way this time, because 2 less votes for you and 2 for me would have made a 3-way tie, and I think that would have been fantastic to see how that came out. So, just to see how it resolved itself would have been interesting. You have also shown a commitment to the city where you were raised. I listened when we were during the campaign. I listened to the podcast that you did with Mike, and that your story is a compelling one, and certainly you're a strong person. And I hope that you will bring all of that and your historical experience with the city to your position on council. And I wish you luck with that.
Thank you.
Mr. Jernick, son number 1. As we'll call you, Marine, man about town. There's different things that I could say about you, but you've done so much for the city on committees and things before you ever arrived here. The passion and zeal that you have for this city as well is remarkable, and I've always been encouraged by your attitude and everything that you have done. I think it's good that you two are far apart, because the critical mass of Deidre and Adam might be too much for everybody. Thanks for making the last few months entertaining and fun, and I appreciate your time on the campaign trail. Mr. Goodyear, my political analyst friend, thanks for what you do as a prosecutor. I in talking to you and hearing what you do, I always am amazed that people like you do what you do so cavalierly. It's something that, trying murder cases is not something I think I could do, and I appreciate you doing that. I appreciate your interest in always doing the right thing, that you always are looking for the right thing, not just the easy thing or whatever, but the right thing. And I appreciate your willingness to say hard things when necessary. Confrontation is not my strong suit, and you were always you always had a kind way of delivering some of those harsh remarks, and I appreciate the fact that you did that. Mr. Hart, son number 2. During our first campaign, Mr. Hart pointed out that I was old enough to be his father, or something like that, and so we've joked about that ever since. And I made friends with John on the campaign trail, and it was a special time. It was an enjoyable time both times. We had a lot to share and a lot of fun, and it was certainly pleasant every step of the way. John, as an administrator at the school and as a teacher before that, if you walked with him through the streets of Loveland, what you would find when you meet people is all these little kids running around. Mr. Hart, Mr. Hart, Mr. Hart. That doesn't come unless you're doing a good job. And so I appreciate what you do for the schools outside of your role here. And I appreciate the insights. I found your comments tonight interesting, simply because they're what I was going to, I guess I'm reciprocating. Your insights always left me thinking about things from a different angle. I think that was a good thing for both of us, and I appreciate that. Vice Mayor Bateman, the chameleon, as I like to call him, for your thoughtful well-spoken comments during council meetings as well as outside of council meetings. You a lot of times would raise your hand. The mayor always called on you first for some reason, not me, but anyway. She would call on you and you would speak and you would talk and say your piece. And I would think, I wish I would have thought of that. Or the other thing I would think is, well, I guess I won't be able to say that because he already covered it. And so I appreciate the fact that you had such thoughtful comments that showed how well prepared you were coming into the meetings. I also appreciate all of the kind words and considerate things that you said out of public earshot when we were out separate and apart by ourselves. And I know those things come without ulterior motives, and that makes them more special. Mr. Kennedy, City Manager Extraordinaire, thank you for the tireless hours that you spend with this city. One of the most surprising things to me when I first came on council was how it did not matter when I sent you something, you would always respond. And I started leaving myself reminders because I thought this man is never going to sleep if I keep texting him. So I appreciate all that you do for the city. You are certainly devoted to a level that is going to be very difficult for the next person that follows you. The deep care you have for this community and the individual people in it is, I just don't think it could be surpassed. I've seen you talk to people on the streets. I've seen you respond to requests. When I sent you an email about the fellow that had the problem with the rooster, it was immediate, your reaction to that. And I know that he felt heard, that we took care of his problem. And I appreciate the fact that no matter what I asked of you, you always were there for me in that regard. And I also want to thank you for never tiring of commenting on how straight the lines are in my yard. That was nice too. The Honorable Kathy Bailey, the svelte gazelle of the Loveland Prairie, as I one time called her in a text message. You don't remember that. See, that hurts, but okay. You are an amazing person, and this community is blessed to have you as mayor. You have dedicated yourself to this city as well. Those that have served with you know more than anyone else what a dedicated servant you are. I truly marvel at the number of people that you know in this city, and I don't say that as an exaggeration. Whenever we are walking around town, you seem to know everybody, and I keep thinking there's 13,000 people here. How can you know them all? But you try, and that's to be commended. When I went to place signs for this campaign, I've known a couple over on West Loveland now for 30-some years. They were parents of one of my daughter's friends. And I went to go place signs, and they already had the signs up. Of course, they said, well, Kathy asked us to. And I'm like, how do you know Kathy? I mean, how is that even possible? I think that that's a fantastic thing, that you care that much about the community that you serve. You're strong-willed and determined. Yes, that's probably an understatement at times. But I also know that you're caring and kind, and I've seen that side of you too. I thank you for all that you've done for the city and all that you continue to do. More personally, without you, I would not have had this opportunity. You believed in me, you pushed me to run for this office, you supported me every step of the way, you gave me advice, you helped me understand the role better. I could not have done this without you. That certainly is true. And when I found out that when the community found out that I was running 4 years ago, there were some local bloggers and podcasters who took the air to kind of be negative. And they said, well, I was Kathy Bailey's minion, was one of the comments. A bobble-headed yes man, a lapdog with a leash and a collar. But you know, we know the truth. It was more of a choker chain, not a Got to keep it light, Kathy. Got to keep it light. we have discussed many things over the years. Some of those things we disagreed on, but most things we agreed on. And I think that I will certainly miss those opportunities to share with you ideas about council and so forth while being on council. I know that this is not the end, but certainly it has a different feel to it. I think we both benefited from those conversations. I know I certainly did. And so I'm thankful to have come to know you, and I'm thankful to call you my friend. As I just said, without you, I couldn't have done this. So I suppose all this melancholy and upsetness could have been avoided if you would have just left me alone. But nonetheless, I hope that the things I've said here tonight, I've tried to keep it light because the last thing I want to do is stand up here and sob. But I hope the things I've said tonight, you guys truly understand that I mean them from the bottom of my heart. I have been truly blessed to have been a part of this even for a little while. So in closing, I've got my checklist here. Airing of the grievances, a poem, a Seinfeld reference, a witty quote, some thank yous. And so all that remains is one more thing. And I have some gifts to hand out. So
We have gifts for you too at some point.
I'm almost done. I told you. So I like gifts that kind of have a little deeper meaning to them. And so I live in the old Carl Brown house. It's the house Carl Brown built when he was living in Loveland. And there's a tree out back down the hill a little bit, a walnut that fell down a few years ago that probably, I think I guess it was about 80 years old, so older than anybody here. I harvested that tree and I made some Christmas ornaments. And the only thing I messed up on is I didn't allow enough time because I was going to make a lot more of them and have them for a lot of people. So you have to wait if you don't get one tonight. I have 7, so imagine that. I have one for everybody on council. And I want to hand these out to you. Would you mind handing them out for me? Take one for yourself and give one to the council members. Each one is a snowflake. It's made from a piece of walnut from this tree. So it's like a little piece of Loveland with a little piece of me for my time invested. And the thing that I want you to notice is a snowflake only comes with heavy snow. And so I put a little salt in there for you as well. And so I think that closes. I've now covered everything on my list. Thank you all, seriously. Thank you all for all that you do for the city, for the service and support that you give to it. And most importantly, thank you for being part of my wonderful life. Appreciate it.
I do have a few things for you. The plaque.
that.
I'll take a picture. And you didn't want anything, so we got you something anyway. A picture of the council. We all have something to say. Not as much as you had to say.
Nobody does.
A little something. Thank you.
Thank you very much
for your exemplary service. We'll miss you, but you're not forgotten. You'll still be around.
I'll still be around.
You want me to hold that while you shake hands? There you go.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Ping. Appreciate you coming back tonight. It's time for you to go. All right. Open forum. Jim Dahlmeyer.
It's a hard act to follow.
Jim Dahlmeyer, 452 Pintail Drive. Just wanted to talk tonight. I got to talk at a meeting a couple meetings ago. I missed the last one. Just kind of wanted to talk about PFAS a little more because at the end of the meeting, there were some comments that was follow up to my comments, and I felt that was great and a step forward. And I want to keep that dialogue moving. And I just want to start off with I spoke purposely after the election, so I didn't want to be conceived that it was a political thing. I could have talked about it months before, but while I was out on the campaign trail, we talked about PFAS in water, and this came up, and I never said that council was negligent, and I don't think that. It just popped up in someone's comments. And then just want to say, so Mr. Bateman did a great job explaining the timeline that council was under with the PFAS and the shifting sands that the EPA was delivering to you, and having a challenge to work through that. So my comment was our timeline out here started in November 21st, 2023, which was when the first article in Cincinnati.com came out about PFAS in our water. So that's when we became aware that we have a problem with our water supply. And coincidentally, it just happened to be after the last election, so that it would make sense that it would, show up in this cycle. And this was 4 years after we found out that there was an email with the from the EPA telling council how to proceed. And then Mr. Hart brought up the cost of the water to turn on from Cincinnati Waterworks. And I thought that was really helpful information. I had not heard this discussed before. I didn't know that there was how much money that would cost. But that's kind of my point, is that we haven't discussed this out here, in the public. So we were unaware of how things are. But I wanted, cautious. We should be careful about putting a dollar amount on our health. If we talk about 1.3 million is too expensive to get clean water, but we're prioritizing the Loveland Madeira corridor. I think we should prioritize our drinking water. And then Mayor Bailey was talking about all the hard work you put in on the website and the quarterly mailer that just came out in October. And talking about the lawsuit win, and I can see that there's work getting done. No one said that you weren't hard workers on this subject. The mailer you mentioned just was talking about a deadline, you mentioned about meeting a deadline, or you were on track, but we never mentioned the deadline or when we want to get that in. And I think that would be helpful to know if there was a deadline, not from the EPA, but for council to approve the new filtration system, and do we have a hard number when we want to get that done. And then we talked about the water bills and how the information's on there, and it hasn't been on there recently, but it did get on this last one, and I'm thankful for that information to get there. And then some have expressed keeping our water supply to ourselves as a way to protect our home rule, as if we were to give up our water, we'd lose leverages elsewhere. And I can see the validity in that, but my other point would be if our water isn't good water, then we kind of lose our leverage on having home rule. If it's not the best water. And so then the other point would be, if our water isn't that awesome, sometimes when the buyer and the seller know that they have an inferior product, sometimes the seller knocks a little money off the top of the price, so it's a little more affordable. So maybe discounted rates for water. We could start affording to get water filtration. A whole home water filtration system costs at least $3,000, and I know that not every resident can make that happen. So it's quite expensive. Anyway, so my hope is that the city could start doing a better job broadcasting all the issues that we have to deal with PFAS instead of just the minimum communication. I'd love it if we could be the best council that we can and providing the best city that we can with the best water. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is review and approval of the minutes from November 25th, 2025 City Council meeting. Are there any changes or additions to those minutes?
Move to approve as written.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Goodyear,
Yes.
Ms. Hamlin,
I will abstain since I wasn't on council at that time.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Ms. Hazelbaker,
Abstain because I wasn't on council.
Mr. Jarnick,
I will abstain because I was not on council.
Mayor Bailey.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
All right, next is the second reading of an ordinance. Is there any further or new discussion on that ordinance? Want to go ahead and read the ordinance, please?
Ordinance to make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Loveland, State of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2026.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Goodyear,
Yes.
Ms. Hamlin,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Ms. Hazelbaker,
Yes.
Mr. Jarnick,
Yes.
Mayor Bailey,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bateman.
Yes.
Ordinance 104 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
All right, and we have the ordinance approving the reduction of the speed limit. Is there any further discussion on that ordinance? Mr. Bateman?
I just want to say I'm in full support of this as we've been continuing to find opportunities to reduce the speed limit. And so I look forward to finding more opportunities where we can continue to do that. It might be unpopular for the drivers, but I'm in favor of slower going on the road. So thank you for this.
Any other discussion? Want to read the ordinance, please?
John was.
You can't see me past the show now.
Oh, Mr. Hart.
I had two quick comments. One, I want to give kudos to staff for working with another municipality to make sure this happened. And then I also want to check in with Mayor Bailey to make sure you've made adequate changes in your commute time
I know.
to account for this.
I'll plan ahead.
I'm in support of this.
Any other comments? Maybe wave your hand more forcefully.
We'll get it worked out.
Okay. All right.
First day.
I can
First
see
day.
Thank
it.
you. Read the ordinance, please.
Ordinance approving the reduction of speed limit on a portion of State Route 48, Oakland Road, from 45 miles per hour to 35 miles per hour within the City of Loveland Corporation limits.
Call the roll, please.
Ms. Hamlin,
Yes.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Ms. Hazelbaker,
Yes.
Mr. Jarnick,
Yes.
Mayor Bailey,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Goodyear.
Yes.
Ordinance 105 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Mr. Kennedy?
The legislation, this memo accompanies a legislation that would authorize the submission of a fiscal year 2027, 2028 capital budget application. I guess when you think about city parks, when you do the math, it's pretty impressive. The city actually owns and maintains 200 acres of parks, and nature preserves. But when you factor in the tremendous amount of land throughout various subdivisions in the city, up in the Heights, there's land that the city owns up in Brandywine, White Pillars, and so on and so forth, and then couple that with the soon-to-be 200 acres of dedicated the space that will be between Cardinal and Grail. It's a pretty impressive amount, and I know that Nisbet gets sort of front billing with a lot of the park improvements, but we sort of went through some of the projects that have been done over the last year, and the city has invested pretty heavily in Phillips, McCoy, Lever, Kiwanis, Navajo, and Cherokee. And one of the items that the city does, I think all its staff does a really good job of, is trying to capitalize on various funding applications, keeping our finger on the applications and funding that's out there. And we are a little unique because we get to apply through capital budgets, which is every 2 years. Typically now it's through the Port Authority. In the old days, that's not how it worked, but typically now everyone's competing against everyone, the various counties. So at some point in time, about this time of the year, the city will get notified by Hamilton County Port and Claremont County Port. We do not typically apply in Warren. We do not have any parks. We don't have any land up in there. And what they're asking you is, you got anything you'd be interested in putting in the capital budget? And the city does typically submit something for Claremont and something for Hamilton County. And one of the things you learn, and we learn from doing those, is the kind of projects that they like to fund. The things that they're not going to fund, they're not going to fund a new sewer main or a water main. Those are user fees. They like economic development projects and they like park projects. And that was sort of what we have always focused on. It is funny how these things get started. Back in April, the mayor and I received an email from a resident who was concerned and felt that the place set in Nisbet needed an upgrade, needed a refresher. And as the mayor would often do, is something we could look into. And she found actually a good model in Madeira that we use as a guide. So the way that works, we went to Madeira, we looked at the place set, we then contacted the city. Who did you use? We reached out to that engineer, that consulting firm that really specializes in. And throughout the summer, the mayor and Chris and I have been sort of working on how do we come up with some signature pieces. But front and center, what we wanted to do was we wanted to bring in the turf. Now, the turf is more than just that's pretty. The turf, not only is it more functional and it allows, but it does increase the accessibility. Handicap accessibility is a big part of this project. Replacing all the mulch with with the turf would be a significant step in that in the direction. The plan that we have come up with, working with the Kleinger's group, is an expansion of the footprint of the existing park, removing of all the, adding one extreme signature piece. Expanding the age limit, that I've heard that. I don't have email, but I do know that there's some limitations in the age group that can utilize Nisbet Park playset, and expanding it and replace the border and keep all of the current items. Then the thought was, and I know this was Mayor Bailey's thought, was when Nisbet is done, which my estimation would be by the end of 2027, almost all facets of the Nisbet Park Master Plan will be completed. At that point in time, it would make sense that the playset would mirror and match the other portions of it. As I mentioned, we submitted an application for Phillips Park. Everybody's a little different in Hamilton County. Hamilton County did not require a legislation. Claremont County prefers one, and that is why we're here. If anybody has any questions.
Are there any questions, Ms. Hamlin?
I know that this, obviously Nisbet Park is in the middle of the historic district, and I'm wondering if there are plans to take this through to the Historic Preservation and Planning Commission, and when would that be appropriate to do if that's the case? And is it appropriate to do it before this gets submitted or during, after?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know if this would fall under the parameters of a historic preservation review. One of the items we were trying to do here is this particular type of equipment. The comp pen is the finest equipment that they have out there, and it's a good investment. We have had lower grade equipment. I don't know if this actually falls within. It's not a habitable structure. I don't know that it meets if it meets the requirements of the historic district. I think this is one of those items where we've tried to come up with the pieces of equipment that we felt that would be one signature, that would expand the age limit, that would be the highest quality that's out there. There are different colors in the items. There's certain colors that can be changed up. These are references. There are colors that we can change. I don't know that I would want to change the style that we're going with, because these are a lot of thought went into picking the pieces that expand the age group. I don't know that the colors you see here today are actually the colors we would go with. These are just references that I found based upon that. The turf will probably be just straight up green. They do come with designs. That is an option that the city could do. We're not really there yet. We sort of expand the cost a little bit so we can fit what we want in that project. But I don't know that this actually falls within the the boundaries of the design guidelines is what I'm trying to say. So
Thank you.
that was a long way to get there. Sorry about that.
You're fine. Any other comments or questions? Mr. Vice Mayor?
Thank you. I would just ask, since this is just so I understand, this would be if we were to receive this grant, what would then be the process for procurement of this equipment? Would it go through just a secondary appearance before council where we would essentially authorize the actual details and the actual parameters of each of the playground sets?
Yeah. We've already submitted our request for Phillips Park. In Hamilton County, I then take a little trip downtown, and they run us through like cattle. Everyone has 5 minutes to explain their project. In Claremont County, they're waiting for more direction. We actually have a little bit of time to get the application submitted, but we anticipate, Chris and I anticipate we'll get this submitted probably before Christmas following this legislation. We've got our two supporters. Little Miami Conservancy is supporting the project, and so is the Friends of Little Miami State Park. They're the people that actually manage and maintain the bike trail. They have both submitted us letters. That is a big deal. Nothing against our downtown businesses who often support our grant applications. With this, they want those sort of nonprofits to sort of step forward. We have those letters, and with that, we are ready to submit. I don't think we will hear about anything from this until probably January or February. That would likely come with a call from the Port Authority that might say, A, you've been funded in full. B, would you consider taking less, of which maybe we would pull a piece out. Or C, sorry, you're not going to be funded. Initially, the thought was the $900,000 we got from this fund for the parking lot was sort of bought us some time. And Chris and I went to Batavia and spoke to them about our thoughts on this project. And the thought was that that was in 2019, so that we've sort of waited long enough.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, Ms. Hazelbaker.
Dave, thanks for talking about the letters of support, because I really appreciate kind of where the idea comes from. The residents you mentioned, the support of Little Miami Conservancy and the Miami State Park. Appreciate kind of the thoughtfulness of the turf going to ADA accessibility. Could you also talk through kind of as we submit this budget, and I think you talked to it was 27, 28, when kind of our portion of match and kind of what that looks like would hit kind of the budget and kind of how that's planned out?
It says fiscal year 27, 28. It depends on the budget. We all saw how long it took for the budget to be passed at the federal level. It can be or is onerous with the state. I would anticipate that we may get notified that we're funded, allow us to begin this very detailed order process, and see construction begin early in the spring of 27, which means the city's local match will be included in the 27 budget as part of the CIP, our CIP. That is most likely.
All right. Any other questions or comments? All right. We're going to go ahead and read the resolution, please.
Resolution authorizing submission of a fiscal year 2027-28 Claremont County Capital Bill Community Project and commitment of local match for the Nesbitt Park Playset Upgrade Project.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Hazelbaker?
Yes.
Mr. Jernick?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Goodyear?
Yes.
Ms. Hamlin?
Yes.
Resolution 106 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Kennedy and I have submitted a memo with additional details that accompany this resolution that, if adopted by council, would authorize the purchase of 2 new police vehicles delivered in fiscal year 2026. City Council has approved fiscal year 2026 appropriations associated with our operating and capital improvement budget. That capital improvement program includes funding for the purchase of 2 new police cruisers identified as Ford Explorer Interceptors. Loveland Police Department maintains 11 marked vehicles. We task a lieutenant as the fleet manager. His diligence in monitoring repair costs, replacement of parts, keeping them in service, reliability, the age. He recommends a replacement schedule. We've been able to actually delay because of the maintenance that we provide and the care that we take of those vehicles. We've actually been able to defer a few times where we haven't had to come to council and request new vehicles. And even when we do, the vehicles that we do end up replacing, they actually still maintain service within the police department. We actually decommission them and use them as support vehicles. And actually, the last couple of times, because again of the care that we take of those vehicles, we've actually passed on one and soon to be two cars to Public Works for their use. The Ford Interceptor is widely sought by police departments around the country. How this works is there is a state bid or state purchasing program that locks in pricing, and then the manufacturer sets an open ordering window. Traditionally, I would come to you during the 2026 fiscal year to actually make this purchase, but they have opened up the open ordering window now, and we would like to get our order in at this point, because once all of the allocated number of vehicles have been reserved and the window is then closed, we would have to defer purchasing till the 2027 model year. So we are here requesting it before fiscal year 2026 in order to take advantage of the open window. Total cost requested is $49,010 per vehicle for a combined total of $98,020. Again, this is under the state purchasing program. Under this program, the city is not required to solicit competitive bids. City Council can obviously approve or deny the resolution as recommended by staff. The 2026 CIP presented to City Council allocates a total of $110,000 for the vehicles, which is obviously in excess of the $98,020 purchase price, but we build in remaining funds applied to the outfitting of the vehicles. We attempt to reuse as much equipment as we can, but there's always equipment that either doesn't fit the new models or it's just needs to be replaced itself. So the recommendation of staff is for Council to approve the proposed legislation to allow the city manager to enter into the contract to order two new police cruisers for delivery in 2026. And I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? Mr. Hart?
Just a quick thank you to the chief and your staff for taking such great care of your equipment and allowing us over the last couple of years to kick this can down the road a little bit, because you keep our stuff in such great shape. So thank you for your work there.
Certainly.
Any other comments? All right, go ahead and read the resolution, please.
Resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Beachmont Ford for the purchase of new police cruisers.
Call the roll, please.
Ms. Hazelbaker?
Yes.
Mr. Jarnick?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Goodyear?
Yes.
Ms. Hamlin?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Resolution 107 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Ms. Clark?
Every 2 to 3 years, the city solicits bids for janitorial services. We conducted that process this year, and 5 companies submitted bids. Each department was able to meet with the services or the vendor when they came in to tour the building and do their measurements, and then we all sat and reviewed their proposals. After evaluating both the cost and the scope of services offered, staff recommends that we contract with Image Cleaning Systems. They also clean for the city of Montgomery and Miami Township and received glowing recommendations for both. Their price is good for both 2026 and 2027. I'll note that on the resolution, I put a red line at your desk because the amount that I listed there did not include, it did include the $350 initial cleaning fee, which they later waived.
All right, any comments or questions? Mr. Hart?
Sorry, just so I'm clear, is price is good for 2 years, but does this lock us in for 2 years?
No, the ordinance is just for 26.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Ms. Hazelbaker.
No, I just appreciate the kind of care put into getting the companion bids and the 5 bids, and then working. I love the collaboration with the other municipalities to kind of get the recommendations. So I just appreciate that time.
All right, anyone else? Want to go ahead and read the resolution, please?
Resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Image Cleaning janitorial services.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Jarnick?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Goodyear?
Yes.
Ms. Hamlin?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Hazelbaker?
Yes. Too many.
Res-
Sorry about that. We're all huzz.
Resolution 108 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Mr. Weinich, you got this?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Every year, towards the end of the fiscal year, there's some cleanup typically that needs to be done with our fund balances. And this is a supplemental appropriation that's being brought in front of council. Essentially, we have across all the funds, total appropriation adjustment of $134,500. In your packet, you see, or specifically in the ordinance, it calls out the individual funds that are receiving those altered appropriations. And per section 3.03 of our city's charter, ordinance is providing for the appropriation of current expenses for the city shall become effective immediately. So essentially, this only requires one reading. But if there's any questions, I can take them.
Any questions? All right. And because we vote on this, right? It only requires one reading. Okay. So go ahead and read the ordinance, please.
Ordinance to make revisions to appropriations for expenditures for the City of Loveland, State of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2005.
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Bailey.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bateman.
Yes.
Mr. Goodyear.
Yes.
Ms. Hamlin.
Yes.
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
Ms. Hazelbaker.
Yes.
Mr. Jernick.
Yes.
Ordinance 109 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
All right. Mr. Weinich.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a report and a transmittal from Planning and Zoning that you're receiving. If you recall, on November 12th, 2025, City Council adopted Resolution 2025-91, which was adopting the concept plan, development guidelines, and written findings of fact for SPD number 20, also referred to as the Highlands of Loveland. On December 2nd, 2025, Planning and Zoning held a public hearing for the proposed zoning and text map amendment. This is essentially the next step in that process. And as part of their transmittal that's been given to you, they've recommended approval of that proposed zoning map and text amendment. And with that, they're requesting, or we are requesting, you set a public hearing to have it heard here at council for January 13th, 2026 at 7 p.m. So all we're requesting today is a motion to set that public hearing.
All right. Thank you. Any questions or comments? Someone care to make the motion?
I'll make a motion that we set a public hearing for Tuesday, January 13th, 2026 at or about 7 p.m. pursuant to both Section 1151.09 and Section 1151.02B2, the Special Planning District Regulations, to consider adoption of the formal zoning map and text amendment for SPD number 20, Highlands of Loveland.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor
Yes.
Mr. Goodyear.
Yes.
Ms. Hamlin.
Yes.
Mr. Hart.
Yes.
Ms. Hazelbaker.
Yes.
Mr. Jernick.
Yes.
Mayor Bailey.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
All right. I think the next thing is on page 153 of your packet. This is the board, commission, committee, and representative appointments. I do want to thank everyone that put their name in to be placed on one of these. You do have a red line version at your table. It's in addition to the beautification committee. So, as always, seeking a motion from council to affirm the appointments. Any comments? Ms. Hamlin?
Yes. So I believe that the responsibility to approve these appointments is probably one of the most important roles that council undertakes. And I don't believe that it's a vote that we should enter into lightly. And I believe we owe it to the applicants, not only the applicants, but to the community, to approach this decision with care. And I believe it is our responsibility to review qualifications and thoughtfully vet the applicants before taking action. And since these suggestions were made to us on Friday, and it is now just Monday, a vote tonight would not allow council the opportunity to act with the level of care that I believe it deserves. And with that, I would like to make a motion to postpone the vote on the committee appointments until the January 13th, 2016 meeting.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any comment? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Goodyear.
No.
Ms. Hamlin.
Yes.
Mr. Hart.
No.
Ms. Hazelbaker.
Yes.
Mr. Jernick,
No.
Mayor Bailey,
No.
Vice Mayor Bateman.
No.
The motion fails by a vote of 2 to 4.
Any other comments?
Sure.
Yes.
I just want to really just take a minute to respond a little bit to what Ms. Hamlin mentioned. I agree. These are important. These are important votes to affirm the board, commission, committee, and representative appointments. But I also believe that it's not. I don't have any HR experience, and I certainly don't think I am necessarily qualified, nor am I, to be honest, wanting to peruse each and every one of these applications. I think within our charter, it's written as such to be in the mayor's purview to go through the applications as submitted through the proper channels and the procedure that has been set forth. And so I put my faith in that process. I know that our commission members and committee members have all served, valiantly and honorably in the past, and I see no reason why I would approach this with skepticism, but rather I choose to approach this with optimism that these folks will have every opportunity to contribute as they've been selected for consideration to appointment, and I plan to, with all good faith, affirm these appointments.
Thank you. Any further comment?
Because it didn't postpone, as a newly seated council person, I would have preferred more time, just because it was the speed and the amount of nominations. And I appreciate the time that everybody serves for putting their name on that application, for being ready to serve in that way. For transparency, the mayor and I met and spoke ahead of tonight's meeting. Really constructive conversation about expectations, earning trust, how we'll begin working together. And so regardless of tonight's outcome, I know I'll take the role I've been assigned seriously. I take everything I do really seriously. And I hope we'll continue to work towards a more balanced and inclusive approach for the residents that kind of apply and put their name in there, for approach to boards and commissions that reflect a broad range of those residents' voices. Thanks.
Thank you. Any further comment? Mr. Goodyear.
I do want to echo what Mr. Bateman said to some extent, because there's a reason why the charter puts the responsibility of selecting these individuals on the mayor, and I think that we have to respect the decision. There's a charter review committee that meets at least every 10 years, and as part of that process, everything is reviewed, and it has been decided that it's the mayor's prerogative to choose these appointments. And so there's two parts to that. Number one, I respect the mayor's opinion. I respect her decision making. I know she's thoughtful and thorough in what she does, so I place my trust in her. But I also know that I recognize a lot of these names. These are people that have served on committees for a number of years, and so I think that I personally feel comfortable with both of those pieces of information going forward tonight. I respect the opinion, especially knowing that there are three members. I'm sorry, they're new on council, and this is a kind of a fast approach because you've just gotten up to speed. But I do think the charter sets this framework for a reason, and I trust that, and I trust the mayor, so I would support these.
Thank you. Any further comment? And I appreciate the quick turnaround, but the reality is a lot of these expire at the end of December. So we really need to get a lot of these in place before that happens, so that we're ready to go in the new year. All right, with that, we have the motion, right? We need a motion to affirm.
I'll move to affirm the commission, the committee, and representative appointments.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, call the roll, please.
Ms. Hamlin?
No.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Ms. Hazelbaker?
Yes.
Mr. Jernick?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Goodyear?
Yes.
Motion carries 6 to 1.
As far as announcements, city offices will be closed Christmas Day and New Year's Day. Our next meeting is not until January 13th, 2026. I do want to commend the Little Miami River Chamber Alliance. They had a very wonderful Christmas in Loveland this past weekend under very trying conditions. They made some good adjustments to try to get in as much as possible, and I appreciate their pivoting and everybody that was involved in that, finding a way to make that work. I think it was actually kind of fun. Hopefully it was as successful as they hoped, but quite the winter wonderland. Your officers came in to where I was at one point. I said, I think you're melting. They were like dripping all over the floor, which as was everyone else. But so well done to Little Miami River Chamber Alliances. Are there any other comments or questions? All right. Well, congratulations to the three of you on your first council meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hart,
Yes.
Ms. Hazelbaker,
Yes.
Mr. Jernick,
Yes.
Mayor Bailey,
Yes.
Mayor Bateman,
Yes.
Mr. Goodyear,
Yes.
Ms. Hamlin.
Yes.
Carries 7-0.
That's yours.